Hi guys, in this video we are in the previous video I copied the results as running the solver took quite a long time, and then I was faced with the negative sign here, and this is because I forgot to add two here. One more extra, let's add and see what happens when we add. So now things are going fine. So I needed to add here two brackets for all the term here that is being divided by so make sure that you enclose this into brackets as well. Otherwise, what's happening, there's a possibility that some product will be divided over the square root of the sum of cluster 5, and then this is multiplied by, and this is not what we wanted. We want the sum product to be divided over both. So please fix that and copy that again. So I'm sorry, sometimes I need to be more careful. So here's the minimum and here's the match. So now that we have all the distances in positive, not negative, this is now makes sense. So I hope that you understand what the problem is. The problem was without the brackets here on that encloses the square root sum cluster times the square root sum of the vector of the client. What happens is Excel will take this, divide it by this, and then the product of this division will be multiplied by this. So this is not what we wanted, right? We wanted this to be divided over the product of these two. So this is why I added the brackets, and now we got rid of the negative. So now we have everything done nicely. Please start a new sheet and call it top deals mid C, median clustering, median clustering. Top deals, median clustering. And let's copy this. So now as you can see with the results, we have zeros and we have 1, 1. So this means for cluster 1, this offer belongs to cluster 1. They also belong to cluster 2. So it's not a crime for the same offer to belong to both clusters. Over here also, this offer falls into 2 clusters and so on. So we have here multiple offers. Offer 22 loads into 3 different clusters. Same for offer 31. So with this technique, we're not going to be very concerned about double loadings, like on double clusters, on multiple clusters. Okay, copy all this. All right. And paste it here. And then delete all this. And here instead replace that with the number of clusters that you have. And now let's write down the equation. Before we do that, let's name this, which is the minimum distances. So actually not the minimum distances, we're going to say in this range, when it's equal to that cluster, so this is the assign the cluster range. So this assign the cluster range, call it mid C range, because we already called it C range in this sheet, if you guys remember. In this sheet we had something, we had it called the C range. So we needed a new name, correct? All right, let's begin. Sum if what range? This range. This range okay, mid-range, medium cluster range. Criteria is if it belongs to cluster 1, then I want you to sum the offers under that cluster. So I want you to sum the offers. Here, be careful. Probably better use the mouse. And sum all the clients, sorry, that falls into offer 1. Here. I would like to just make sure everything is all right. Actually, everything is not quite all right. And this is because we have moved the cells. So this is moving. Look, here starting from M2 to DH2. So I'm gonna add a $sign on the M. So the M and the DH stays the same. They don't change because previously they actually were shifting. So over here, look what happens. M2, DH2, it doesn't change when I move it. So this explains why we had some problems, some unexplained results. I was surprised we don't have anything under cluster 3. And now I can see why. Now I also have another problem. Let's see. Med C range, top deals. Oh, wait a minute. This also needs to be in this case. I would like to stabilize this. In the previous video, which is the first video of today's, we actually gave it a name, right? So that it doesn't give us trouble. Over here, I'm gonna use another technique, which is using the $signs for absolute reference. So I'm gonna put a $sign to freeze the variable, to freeze the column, because I'm gonna add a $sign before the letter. As you can see, all the columns are named by letters. So if you want to freeze the columns as we want it here we want to freeze the columns from M to DH. I want to, from DH here to M, I want to basically sum the number of offers row by row, row by row, row by row. But when I move the mouse here and copy, what happens is this also shifts. So I don't want it to shift. So I'm gonna add a $sign to keep the M stable. So I'm gonna add the $sign before the M and the $sign before the DH. However, when I drag and copy down, I would like this to be also moved down and copied down accordingly. So for this purpose, this is what we're trying to do. This is why we added here for the M2 to DH2, here M2 to DH2, whatever it is, we added just the $sign before the M and before the DH. However, over here I want, as I am dragging down, as you can see here, what happened is this is supposed to be this one, 5, but however it is moving down. So if I add a dollar sign not only on the L but also on the number of the row, this means the cell itself will be referenced, an absolute reference. So now we have it nicely done. What does that tell you? That tells you that I made a mistake over here. Or maybe not. Did I? Oh, yes, I did. By all means, I did. Oh, man, Norasita. I did make a mistake here. So we need to copy that. And we need to make sure. Wait. Now we're going to have different. Here. Do you see? Starting from P to DK. We want to keep it from M to DH. I'm sorry, today this morning I had to finalize these videos for you guys before I leave. I had to go to the doctor to Tokyo, and it takes too long, and I just wanted to get it over with. Now let's see. Okay. So we fixed it now. So make sure, and this is why I like to give names for the ranges, as you can see here. And this is cluster 1. And now make sure that this doesn't change as you horizontally copy. So here M, M, MDH, 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 and that everything now is all right. Now if you take a look, it will still be stabilized there. Okay. We still don't have here we still don't have any offer loading, but honestly, here, this is loads at cluster 3. So let me update this table. So you need to refresh, as you can see. So now that we refreshed, we have 4, 5, 7, 15, 1. However, these are quite confusing. Now let's move to our K-median. With our K-median cluster here, we know that this offer, this cluster can be described by offer 7, 8, 18, 29, 30. Cluster 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So there's overlapping, it's okay. 19, 22, 27, 31. And here it's the same. 1, 9, and so on. So now you can you don't need to do the pivot table over here, because you already know the first piece of information, which offers makes up each cluster. And now, how many clients for each cluster? And if you want how many clients for each offer, then it is okay. You can tell because from the pivot table, when we made the pivot table over here, it has a grand total. So we know that offer 1 has 10, 10, 6, 12, and so on. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. But over here, if you want to know in general how many clients load in cluster 1, so you can just say sum over here 88, just to make sure that the clusters are all substantial. Yeah, this is more consistent, isn't it? A little bit more consistent. 80, 80, in the 40, in the 40, in the 60. Over there we had like crazy numbers. If you guys remember, we had the 100, 90, and then 22, so low, 30 and 60. There's more consistency here. Okay, so now we can also see very easily we have 7 clients for cluster 3 offer 1, 2 clients for cluster 5 offer 1, and 1 client for offer 1 in cluster 4. So this is how we do K-median clustering. I'm sorry, again, I apologize that in the previous video over here, I just didn't pay very good attention to the absolute referencing. So when you want to freeze the range horizontally from column to another column, as in here, you want to freeze the summation here from for the clients. Wow, we have so many clients. So you want to freeze it to start from here to there. So you are going to add the $sign before the letter, because the letter marks the column. And then if you drag down for a copy, this will also be reflected and will be going down. However, if you also copy that across horizontally, if you also have the $sign, which is the relative, we call it the relative reference, then this will not cause a shifting in our selection. Okay? Okay. All right. However, when you're talking about this number here, 1, this is why in this sheet I also called it cluster 1. Over here, I didn't call it centroid 1, for example. So it stayed here called top deals M mid C H 1. So I have to add the $sign before the H and before the 1, so I can freeze it as is, so it doesn't move to the right, doesn't move down, doesn't move as I copy and drag the mouse and copy it across or down. And this is it. In the next class, we will talk a little bit more about how do we use this data to send emails to our clients. All right, thank you so much, guys.